started to live stream a little earlier than what my post said. I kind of had things coming up, and it kind of worked out better to just start a little early. So, guys, thanks for hopping on. And, guys, tonight we got Missouri Survival. If you do not follow his YouTube channel, go check him out. He's doing a lot of knife and gear reviews, and he gets into a lot of the rants and stuff like I do.
A
And,
little bit.
you know, some of the conspiratorial stuff, which I'm sure this live stream will kind of go a little bit all over the place. Uh,
Probably.
Probably. And so, right off the bat, I'll just kind of start off with what kind of stuff are you kind of looking into getting into for 2026? Are you going to be doing more knife reviews? Is it going to be some like gun content, maybe? Like what's going on with Missouri Survival?
The idea I've got at the moment is to keep doing as much knife content as I can. Things have slowed down a little bit just with we had my grandmother passed away and some stuff like that. So it was like I'm just kind of coming out of that little slump of different things going on to where I didn't even have time to film. So I'm just kind of getting my feet back under me. I've got a lot of knives that I've done a bunch of shorts on and junk that I hadn't really got to do full reviews on yet. So those are coming up. Probably gonna do some camp cooking stuff. Um, the day after Christmas, I started another cut weight loss wise because I'm like, all right, you've maintained for a while, so let's drop it down again and see what we can do. And I just had to get my mind in the right headspace for that because I think it's more of a mental barrier for me than it is anything else. Because it's not like I'm not active. So working on some weight loss stuff. So there might be some content with that. If I can get the free time away from the house, I'd like to do some more bushcraft builds, just for the fun of it, and put some stuff out there. I'd like to do more, like honestly, survival based bushcraft content if the schedule allows.
Well, I definitely want to work on a kind of array of videos. I'm going to be doing some more gun content. I'm probably going to be getting into the suppressor world before too long. So I want to try to get into some of that stuff. And I'm actually kind of reworking on my bushcraft shelter. So I kind of want to try to put a video up at least on rebuilding that, and I'd like to do some like camp outs and stuff, and obviously gun review stuff, and of course I'll always be doing knife review stuff.
Right.
One I got on me that I am going to be working on a review before too long, and this is the Primitive Bear Knives Bush Bear. It's one of my favorite, just
Like,
like kind of camp survival knives. This
that
thing,
is a great looking blade.
yeah. And I think I'm also going to be working on a lot of like part twos. And so, I did a Essie Hungless like a long time ago, and some Essie blades. I want to do like part twos of those, maybe a part two of like the Beckers and stuff. And just
I've never even thought of doing a part two. Maybe I'm missing out on an entire thing here. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
I
and
got
just kind of long term, like, hey, what I think of it again. Like, I actually want to do a part two on this guy here, the Counter Strike from Very Good Knife Company. It's been my go-to EDC blade lately. This thing is pretty sick. And I've been talking with him. He's gonna try to start making up trainers for this. So there'd be like an aluminum trainer that'll fit in the Kydex sheath and stuff.
that
That
is cool.
so you can like train with it as far as like combatives and stuff for like an EDC combative type of blade, which I
Right.
think would be pretty cool.
Just
Uh,
under the idea of a part two. I've had this one. This is one I did a review probably 7 years ago. But this I don't even know if you can get them anymore if they're still got overstock. But the SP10, man,
yeah, those
I maybe
I've
need to.
always thought those things were cool.
This thing, I mean, it's seen some things,
Yeah.
but such a badass blade. I just don't use it enough. I probably need to break it out and do some videos with it. Because I don't think I've showed this thing much in a
Yeah.
while at least.
I also have a few knives kind of either being sent or, and other reviews coming as well. Um, like I said, I want to try to do some more gun content. So one of the things I really want to work on is revamp my shooting range, and then like actually not only do more gun reviews with that, but also I got like barricades and walls and stuff like that. I want to like actually do drills and stuff along those lines as well.
Right. And I would like to get into doing that. I know that there's like a bias that Google has against gun content. I mean, I'm in a and I can't really say too much about it, but I'm in a signal group of a bunch of people that are far more successful than me that are more gun tuber minded, and they are constantly talking about like getting stuff yeeted off their channel and getting
Oh, I just
strikes
had
and
it
stuff.
happen today. I just my shooting Saturday short that I uploaded, and it's not getting any traction right now because once YouTube takes it off, even if you like delete it or repeal it or whatever, it won't ever get any viewership. And my shooting Saturday, they flagged it, gave me a strike, and blocked the video saying that I copyrighted music that it doesn't even have any music on,
Yeah.
and that's not the first time that's happened. And so it's like YouTube or GayTube is just constantly doing everything against anything that's not pushing degeneracy. And of course, it's probably run by Schnazenstein, Schnazenberg, and Schnazowitz.
Katzenberg, Fatzenberg, Ratzenberg, Hatzenberg.
So
Yeah.
Synagogue of Satanites.
Oh
Now,
gosh.
you hear that Benjamin Netanyahu, went to the White House the other day, and he was really urging Trojan horse Trump to attack Venezuela, and we see kind of where that went.
Man, I honestly, my wife asked me about it earlier, and she's like, "So, what do you think about this?" I was like, "There's a lot of people cheering for it right now. There's a lot of people that that are three-time Trump voters, just like me." Which I'm almost ashamed to even say that now. When I say it, people are like, "Oh yeah, you're just faking it. You never voted for Trump because of the things I'm saying about him now." It's just like this isn't what I voted for. This isn't really even what he campaigned on.
No.
And I'm waiting for somebody with I'm waiting for a Shapiro Stein to be put at the top of the freaking country down there now.
Oh well, I mean, he basically is. He converted to the Synagogue of Satan, and he obviously he back in 2017. You can look into that, and
See, I've tried to find stuff on that, and I need to find some solid stuff of it because I haven't really been able to verify that. And maybe I'm just not looking in the right places. Obviously, you're probably not going to get the truth from Google, but yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like there's gonna be another quasi Jewish leader of that country, and people were talking to me about like, well, that one guy said it was like, well, the Chinese had a lot of influence down there and things like that. It's like, well, the Chinese have a lot of influence here. What difference does it make?
yeah.
Or Cuba's going to be getting free oil. I'll be
And
honest.
if we wanted to stop, quote, a drug dealing criminal, China's the one that's importing all the fentanyl.
Yeah, China's making the fentanyl. You know, and unless
People
we,
are so stupid too. They just repeat what the television tells them. And I got my own speculation on what I think Venezuela is about. So, and I think it's multifaceted. I don't think it's just one thing, but I think the petrodollar, the US dollar, is on the verge of collapse. Like we all see that. It's
yeah,
going Weimar Republic mode.
oh
And,
yeah,
and right now, Saudi Arabia is backing out of the US dollar. And which means they're backing out of the petrodollar. They're actually looking into going into BRICS and China and Russia. And so, what I think the Venezuela thing is more so about is to secure not only oil but to secure the petrodollar and keep the U.S.
right.
dollar alive. Because if the petrodollar goes by the wayside, the U.S. dollar goes by the wayside, and United States of Babylon, goes by the wayside as well. So
Dude, I know that like people are going to tear their toga at me saying this, but I don't know that it's not supposed to go this way. You know, um, we're the largest purveyors of terrorism on the planet at this point, as far as us funding it. and invasion of countries and smut and porn and honestly, I feel like we are sort of in the same boat with Israel because it's like what the things that Israel are doing are things that we're sending them money to do with. It's kind
Yeah.
of guilt by funding in a lot of ways. And I don't know that it's not just the natural judgment of things coming on us for
Well,
doing the things that
it's
we're
kind of
doing.
interesting you brought up judgment. I did a video talking about Revelations 18 and Revelations 19. And that, I think, describes the United States to a T. And I am more convinced now than ever. And I'm not going to like 100% hang my hat on this, but I think the United States is Babylon. And when you start to look into the spiritual implications and the fact that Babylon was always the world empire represented by the eagle, and
Yeah,
Rome, of course, fulfilled that role again. The Holy Roman Empire fulfilled that role, and now here we are, U.S. of A. with the eagle, and our entire country founded by a bunch of Freemasons, which is all spiritually derived of where Babylon. And
right.
so I think that the United States is what Babylon is. And when you read Revelations 18, it talks about all the merchants of the world coming to it and everything like that. And what country is that? You know?
That's us. We're the
And
big consumer of all of it.
yeah, we're the big consumer. And what's even more interesting, get on Google Maps or Apple Maps or whichever one and type in Babylon, New York, and see where it brings you. It's very interesting
Oh, okay.
because New York City is also named Babylon, by the way.
I mean, it's fitting,
Yeah.
honestly.
I mean, it has a harlot right there in, welcoming into it, a big
Right.
ass
So,
androgynous statue. Guys, this cat is just kind of all over me. It's kind of funny because so me and Kenny was shooting, and she came up to us while we were at our shooting range, like some wild stray cat, and so Kenny took her in. So
right on. He was like, "Hey, if the
the
cat's
cat's
ballsy
okay.
enough
Like
to come up,
she was chill with us, just shooting. She just came up and started loving on us, and then just watched us shoot some more.
right on."
So
So I see a comment that says nothing wrong with stopping a drug dealing criminal. I mean, I guess, but here's the thing about that. We elected him to stop pedophiles and drug dealing criminals here. I don't care what he does in Venezuela. I don't want him doing anything for the Venezuelans. They didn't vote for him. I voted for the Orange Man to do things here, and it seems to be he's doing things everywhere else, and that's really the big problem.
well, I agree. I also have to call bullshit on the whole like Venezuelan drug boats and stuff because if you look at these boats that they were quote drone striking and bombing does not even have the capability to get to the United States. You can't have a little John boat go 1,500 to 2,000 miles across the open sea.
Yeah, there's not even enough like capacity for gasoline.
Yes, exactly. And so I to me this is weapons of mass destruction 2.0. It's all a bunch of bullshit and of course, the people that's never served a country, never fought in a war and watches too much Fox News is all going to be hand jiggering over this. So,
Oh yeah.
you
Dude,
know,
I've been called a leftist like at least 4 times today, just in Facebook exchanges on the local news channel.
no, I think the problem is that the conservative right is not ready for our version of the right. I think that's
Yeah,
well, the question I always like to ask a lot of guys is what has been conserved in the last 50 to 70 years? Since World War II, what has been conserved?
nothing, literally
Nothing. Yeah,
nothing.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I mean I've asked that question quite a few times, and yeah, it's always the answer is always I can't come up with anything. I've not seen a gun right be conserved really. It's always slightly being whittled away. Nothing's got bigger. It's not like they've dropped us having to ask the government for permission to own a full auto. My kid's in here, so I may have to drag her out of here.
Well, I think the left right paradigm is completely fake. I agree with Super Saiyan Bear in the comments there. And what I personally think too is they will switch between the two parties to push whatever certain agenda, and then the other, they never back off from the other agenda. They always just continue what the other one pushed, even. And so, if Trump pushes this to a certain extent, then Biden will push that to a certain extent, and then vice versa. They flip flop and keep us all arguing amongst each other about my blue flavor of baby boomer billionaire pedophile is better than your red flavor of baby boomer billionaire pedophile. But they all wear the same little hat. They all go to the same wall, and they all were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. So
Right. And I really think that they're all completely in cooperation. I think that Trump saying a bunch of spicy stuff to them in a congressional, like an address to Congress, is still just theatrics at this point. I
it's
don't
goy
believe
slop.
any of it. I don't
It's
believe
goy
any
slop. They just throw out some goy slop out there for the masses.
basically, yeah.
Yeah, it's a version of goy slop. It's a wizard. The wizard is just playing wizard games, and
Well, it's got to the point like, I would like to say that there's a point where I could see something and believe and think, man, maybe the country is not lost. But I'm not even sure I'm interested in hearing it. And that's a bad place to be about your own country that you do care about, but you think that it's such a handled lie and a mess that you're almost unwilling to believe that it's fixable.
well, I'm pretty sure I've told you this, but I do not believe that there is any fixing America. And what's interesting too is I mentioned Revelations 18:19. Another one I recommend people reading is Deuteronomy 28, because I think United States is under the curses of Deuteronomy 28. It's a curse. It's a judgment of God, and I think
Right.
this country is under the judgment of God. And when people start talking about, like, oh, let's save America and blah blah blah, okay, well, think about how if you're talking about saving America, you're also talking about saving liberal shit stain New York or liberal shit stain California. I don't want to save those places. I don't want to be the same part. I don't even want to be the same nation of people as those.
And that's where I've kind of landed is, I mean, if they want to have their little socialist hellhole that is run by Bernie Sanders, I'm willing to give them that territory.
Yeah.
I just want to like divvy the thing up, and if we can work out trade agreements, fine. If we can't, then nary the twain shall meet. But like I'm totally down with the like 4-part national divorce of
Yeah.
just divvying the thing up.
Well, here's the thing: God's not going to bless a country that openly allows abortion. God's
Yeah,
not
I
going
don't think
to
so.
bless a country that openly allows sodomy. Like, you're gonna be under a judgment of a nation if you have
Well,
that.
and I think that's what has happened is that we as a nation are being judged while Christians are are secure. That doesn't stop us from living through the judgment that happens in a nation that some of us have voted in and some of us have allowed. So yeah, I'm totally down with the whole let's divvy up the silverware and call it a day.
Well, I think the biggest thing that has contributed to this, all of it really, honestly, is the churches have basically been silent on all this. And you won't hear any of this kind of conversation from any church whatsoever. And I think the there's a few things. I think one, with the Schofield reference Bibles and stuff, most Christians worship the synagogue of Satan in the modern state of Israel more than
Dude,
they.
it's crazy. It is
And
crazy how much people are just mindless about like they're unwilling to even question it because I think that they think that like Christians are second class in the
oh,
kingdom of
I've heard
God.
that. Like, I've heard that in a church. There was a Baptist church that I went to. I went to one thing, and the preacher there said that the Christians are the servants of the Jews. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Pastor Pork Chops? Like, shut the hell up. I got up and left.
Well, like I mean, I can I have a little bit of grace for the people who have been lied to their whole life, on that, and they don't really the low information people that just haven't thought it through. Like I can totally understand having grace for those type of people, but the people who are like Greg Locke,
Oh,
you know,
he's
dude.
complete controlled opposition, and
I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't hate Greg Locke, but like what he's saying is honestly, I think borders on blasphemy. The way he'll
oh, it is blasphemy.
like
Yeah,
talk
it
about in the
straight up
name
is
of Jesus
blasphemy.
and all this stuff at people, and it's like, dude, you need to make sure that what you're saying lines up with him before you use his name.
Well, there's a reason why judgment begins at the pulpit. But the other thing with I mentioned in the churches is a lot of them also pushes this rapture crap, which is not even biblical. It was something conjured up by a literal Satanist in the mid 1800s that he openly stated he wanted to like com- twist Christianity with it. And but you
Right.
still have a lot of these. I I I still see a lot of these Christians that'll push this rapture crap, and I think a lot of it too is a lot of modern Christians has a Disney World version of Christianity essentially, and so like they have this like ice cream and fried chicken, barbecue version of
Right.
Christianity when they don't realize that um, things are going to get pretty rough, and a lot of them are not prepared for that. And I think because they're not prepared for that and because they're not grounded, I think a lot of them are going to convert. I think a lot of them are going to lose their faith and follow whatever new system, new religion, which I think I got a wild speculation of what I think the new religion will be, but
Right.
I think a lot of them will twist to that essentially.
I'm sort of like I'm somewhere between the idea of the tribulation being a future event and it being a 70 AD thing. So in my gut, I know that there's going to be trouble in the future and it's going to be for Christians, but like I hadn't quite come to where I rest about what is going to be the tribulation or what it was if it took place at the destruction of the temple. There's a lot of things that overlap, but like as far as persecution and the possibility of the idea of the tribulation maybe even being a cyclical thing because there's so many
I tend to
parallels.
lean on that it's a cyclical thing. I think there's a lot of parts of Revelations that actually can be kind of cyclical, and which it's kind of a reoccurring thing. And I think it's going to manifest into like the final Mac Daddy like thing.
Right.
But even people back in World War II thought it was the tribulations. You know what I mean? And so
They and I've been hearing it my whole life, dude. The year 2000, I mean, surely you lived through that too, right? So
yeah.
it's like everybody was talking about that, oh, the tribulation's coming, and made predictions and all this stuff, and it's like it's not that I don't believe it. It's that I'm not sure on the timing, and you shouldn't be saying that it's right now. That's how I feel.
Oh, and I will never go out on a. I will never do that.
Well, and I'm not saying that you're saying that. It's just the repetitive thing that I've heard over and over in the building with the guy at the front, right? I don't even
Yeah.
go to a church building, man. So it's like I get a lot of Christian friends. They're like, dude, why don't you go to church? And it's like, dude, there's nothing. I mean, I can fellowship with a lot of people there, but like half of the teaching there is not anything that I even think is accurate.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, so homie said, "You gonna make me go to the liberal side, or you guys gonna make room for me on your side?" I mean, here's the thing: I don't think that there is like a real liberal or conservative side. I think both sides are like fake, uh, just bullshit. And I think he's talking about the fact that he's Muslim or something. But here's the thing: even the liberals, a lot of them are quote allied with Muslims, but they're just using the Muslims as the cannon fodder, essentially.
Yeah.
And mark my words: as soon as they're done with the Muslims, the Bolshevik types are going to flip on them because they don't want any kind of religious ideology
Well, and
other
and
than
that's
their religious ideology.
that's currently, I mean, sort of the same thing, the dynamic between Israel and Hamas. Israel, sends money to Hamas through back channels to try to use them to influence to get what they want, or they can either blow up an entire society like we've seen in the last 2 years, or whatever, right?
Well, Benjamin Netanyahu, which that's not even his last name, but you could look into that.
Yeah, it's Malkowski, I believe.
Yeah, or Melkowskowitz or some bullshit. Who knows? But
Something.
some Khazarian name. But anyways, um, even he admitted, even as far back in the 90s, that he funds Hamas, and it's just to try to destabilize things. And speaking of Benjamin Netanyahu, uh, am I the only one that has noticed that that guy has not aged in 30 years? Like,
Dude, you're right.
what kind of adrenochrome is that motherfucker on?
Like
Like,
the clip of him from 1995 talking about the somebody's a terrorist is going to hit the twin towers. Dude, he doesn't look any different. I have not really thought about that, but that is accurate. He doesn't look like he has aged a day
oh, I
since the
know.
mid
Yeah,
'90s.
I think the Epstein boys are like bringing gallons of adrenochrome to him like on a daily basis, or he has a bunch of clones. I mean,
Dude, have you? I don't know if you listen to Alex Jones, but I listen to him a lot for entertainment purposes and just because sometimes there's some good tidbits of info on there. But he was talking about like how the elites have these like birthing farms where they'll try to get like South African women and then like have babies with them and then essentially harvest the fluids. I'm not going to go any further than that, I guess, but like that's what they do to where apparently it's more compatible with them if it's their own kid plus
well,
a South
I
African.
think a lot of it, and you kind of mentioned the term compatible. I think a lot of that is because, in truth, if you go cut past a lot of the bullshit, most of them can trace their lineage to Nephilim. And that's the like real dark underlining thing that like one, there's a book I want you to read it, and once you read it you're gonna kind of start to see what I'm talking about. It's called The Genesis 6 Conspiracy by Gary Wayne. And
Dude, I was texting a guy that he was talking about this. Like I was telling a friend of mine that from church back in the day, and he was like, "Dude, you need to check out this the Genesis 6 conspiracy." Like literally 5 minutes before we got on here,
yeah,
I told him we
uh,
were doing this, so he might be watching.
it's a very interesting book. He's done a lot of like live stream interviews and stuff. I don't even think he has his own like YouTube channel, but he does do a lot. Gary Wayne's the author, but a lot of these people in the high places, they trace their lineage to Nephilim, and it's not that they look at us like we're less than human. It's that they look at us as human, and they're something greater than that.
Right.
And when they say like, "Oh, we want the new age or the new world order," what they really mean is they want to reestablish the pre-flood world of Noah, just like Jesus even said it'd be like the days of Noah. And
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to establish is that type of system once again. And when you really understand Genesis 6, they had Nephilim like basically ruling over humanity.
Dude, I had a conversation with a very devout Christian brother at work, and I was like, man, like let's talk about the Nephilim for a little bit, and I went down this whole route about how they were on the earth before the flood and after, like that's in scripture. And I'm like, so can you believe that Christ rose from the dead just like I do? So if that doesn't sound crazy, then this shouldn't either. Okay, they're still here to
Well,
some
yeah, it
degree or
never
another.
says that the Nephilim were ever gone.
Yeah, yeah,
I
they're
just
not
think that
gone.
they interbred with humanity enough that they kind of look like us and talk like us, but they're not really quite us. And I think
Man,
there's a reason why you don't see certain people who actually control things behind the curtains is because I think they don't really look like us at a certain point. And
right.
I mean, you kind of even start to see it with the like Rothschild characters, and it's like, okay, that does. There's some certain features, especially with the like skull structure, that doesn't quite look human. There, like what?
Like like the cockroach guy from Men in Black, you know, the Edgar suit. Yeah, man, it's a strange world we live in that you know you if you was to text me and be like, dude, I just saw the ground open up and a big dragon thing crawl out of it, and I would believe you enough, and I've seen enough crazy things in the last 5 years. I would be like, what color is it?
What color is it? What kind of rifle round do you think would take it down? Like, you know,
Right?
Me and Kenny's actually had this kind of wild conspiracy too. Is like, okay, if there's Nephilim actually running things, okay, and a lot of their technology from pre-flood, I think, influences our world today. Like, I think the flood of like the pre-flood world was a highly technological world. We lost all that technology, and now
Yeah,
we're just kind of slowly building up to that thing again. But I
a cycle,
actually think
a cycle. Yeah,
yeah, and I also think that, but there is technologies that I think that humans have made too, and I think the Rudy Tooty Pewties are one of those technologies. Now, let me ask you this: if you were a 13-foot tall superhuman, would you try to ban a weapon that even a 6 foot tall human can take you down with?
to some extent that sort of conflicts with a theory that I had about Hitler, because I kind of feel like the Third Reich, because they played with the occult, that they got a lot of their technology from what I would say isn't probably human. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But like, I don't know. And granted, they're all just theories. But dude, yeah, if I was a freaking 6'8", you know, reptilian overlord or you know something like that, I would probably want to get rid of things that can split my dome from 1,000 yards.
yeah, because I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a 13-foot tall Nimrod, dude. A 308 will still take you down. Like,
Right.
I mean, and pretty easily too. And so, even a 5'5" woman can use that. And so,
It's the great equalizer for
and,
sure.
and so, like pre-flood of Noah, when you're like ruling over people in like Bronze Age type of tech. And you could easily control people if you're like a superhuman big ass dude, and all they got is swords and spears and bows and stuff like that. But the
Right.
you know the pew pews are the equalizer.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I mean, I know other conservatives and prepper types are talking about it, but like, I don't think that people realize that I think the biggest weapon coming at us is and I use AI for some stuff, so I know you and I have a little bit of different views of AI, but I think that AI is going to be the big weapon against us to take our jobs, our livelihood, put us under the electric eye in everything we do. I mean, you're not going to be able to take a shit without them knowing that you're taking a shit.
Well, I think AI is going to be a weapon on multiple fronts. And I have done videos, I've said it quite a few times, but I think AI is completely demonic. I think it's almost like
Yeah.
peering into the scrying mirror, and it's like, mirror, mirror on the wall, tell a vision to deceive them all type of thing. And
Right.
the other thing about the AI thing too is we're seeing it even right now. Is they're building all these data centers, and they're telling us, oh well, we might have to cut your power. Your power might have to get doubled. Your electric bill might have to double so we can power this AI data center, or we might have to cut off water. There's already a lot of places that you're seeing even rivers getting dried up because the AI data centers are using up so much water to cool these damn things. And so I think it's not even just a technological thing to deprave us on the internet. I think it's going to be a technological thing to deprave our resources and stuff too. And I and I agree. Fuck AI. I don't. I think it's a technology that is completely satanic to its core, and I think it needs to be like done away with.
done away.
Like
I feel like there's no
on the
stopping it though.
technology thing, I'm like full blown Brotherhood of Steel on this shit.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Like I only use it for like if I'm writing music or something like that, I'll upload a guitar riff or something into it to turn it into like a full thing. But like I've prayed about it and I don't feel like God's convicting me about it. So that's where I go with it. You know, is like is God telling me that I shouldn't even interact with it at all? And I don't get that feeling. I so in my mind, the best way I can describe the way I feel about it is that it's going to be the thing that undoes us in a sense, but it's gonna be a deal where we're unable to escape it in any way. I mean, I can guarantee that AI is involved in us on this stream right now, as far as it getting around to other
Oh,
people and them being able to see
I
it.
think AI already gets into like the comments and trolls and spams people's comments and stuff. I think and they already obviously use it in the algorithm and everything like
Right.
that. And one of the things that me and my wife was talking about too with this rise of AI is it's also going to completely stifle people's artistic creative ability. And it's just like a guy I like to listen to here and there, Mike Adams with the Health
Yeah.
Ranger.
The health ranger. Yeah.
He's like went full blown knob slobbing, balls to the wall on the AI thing, and
Yeah.
he's all hyping up like, yeah, and I wrote like 15 books this week, and blah blah blah. It's like
Well, that's
it's
not
a bunch
really.
of goy slop. It doesn't like
It's not really you writing it. If like even the music that I put into Suno, a guitar recording, to me it's just like saving an idea, you know.
yeah.
But like I would never like be like this is something that I created. You know, it's more just I hate to say it, but it's almost like Skynet and Friends records. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
terrible
like the
idea.
book thing. It's like a book has value because somebody took the time and effort to write a book and express themselves whether it's, truthful information or fiction or a story. But when you put all that AI data out there, it's not only going to cheapen that, but it's going to just throw so much just useless slop out there that nothing's going to have any meaning anymore. Like art, writing, literature, nothing is going to have any meaning.
Dude,
And
I think you've got a point with that. I mean, even without AI, I think the glut of having everything available to us, whether it's a streaming service to watch movies or music, there's so much of it. Like, dude, when I was in like my little phase of like music in junior high and high school, you had to go buy an album and you would listen to all the songs and you would spend time with this thing. Now it's like, oh, if it doesn't appeal to me in 3 seconds, change it,
yeah,
change it, change it. And it's like, I mean,
it's
even
like,
YouTube
okay,
Shorts
you
is
wrote
that.
a book, quote, wrote a book using AI, but what is it other than just useless words on a screen? And I personally think, and this is where I think AI is going to be even darker, is I think when you talk about the Nephilim, you have to bring up the term demons, which is just basically the disembodied spirit of Nephilim. I personally think AI will be a vessel for those disembodied spirits. And
It
I
could
think
be at some point,
I think we're already seeing that to a certain extent, but I think it's just
right?
going to manifest itself even more
I
so.
mean, as at my current position, I feel like it's a tool until I need to shoot at it and throw a Molotov cocktail at it. If God tells me different, then I'm gonna listen. But like, it's probably the smallest thing I use in my life, though. It's just a little bit of shit at this point. But like, I see what you're saying, and I'd hazard to say you're more right than I am.
Well, crap. One of the things that me and Kenny has been talking about doing is you talked about shooting at it or throwing a Molotov cocktail at it. One of the videos we want to do this year is weapons for monsters, weapons I'd want for Nephilim, robots, cryptids, and
Right,
probably even the Navi, because that's popular right now again. So,
right.
what weapons would I want to fight something like that with type of
That's
video?
a great idea, really. I think that's pretty cool.
I think 308 is gonna reign supreme, and gotta spread some hate with 308. If it's not in the image of God, it dies.
Right?
Well, actually, the only thing that would be nicer than a 308 is I legit would love a Warhammer 40K bolter. I think one of those would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Although the power armor type of thing would be even cooler, but
You know, speaking of power armor, I've been playing a lot of Fallout in the last couple of months. That for the longest time I could not get into that, but imagine if we could have power armor. You know what I'm saying? That would be
you
pretty
know, the crazy thing is, I'm sure there's certain black sites that probably already has that type of technology, and
right.
it'll be 50 years before we ever see it. But you know, it.
Yeah, we'll be way outgunned and it'll be something that the military's already phased out before we ever get to see anything of it.
Yeah.
I just like the in the game though. I do like the 50s aesthetic to it all being like really heavy duty, thick steel and
Oh yeah, I think the aesthetic is cool. The only thing I think I've always liked the Fallout games. I still think Fallout New Vegas is the best one. Um, the Fallout 4, I think they way overdid the settlement building in it. I think if they just had like two or three like settlements that you can build up, and then the rest
right.
were just like more explorable areas and stuff like that, I think it would have been better
Yeah.
overall. Because I do nerd out to some games,
Video
Fallout,
idea.
Skyrim, Elder Scrolls in general.
Right.
Uh, um,
Yeah. So I've got a video idea. I wanted, and feel free to use it too. I don't care who's using it, but I think I might do it. Is try to come up with like Fallout 4 Raider camp style cook videos, and get like a damn grate and some cinder blocks and a big pot and or roast some like
got some rad squirrel here, son.
yeah do like true to life Fallout 4 uh survival camp cook.
Wouldn't you hate to be nothing but the pool cue raider? Like you know, you done like totally fucked up in the apocalypse if all you have is like tire armor and a pool cue running around trying to attack people. Like,
Right.
like you done, like you just signed your life away. Like long, it's like okay, I am admittedly cannon fodder at this point.
Right. I wonder how much, if it was just a world of edged weapons, I wonder how much protection you could get from tire armor in a realistic scenario.
I don't know. Probably better than nothing, but I would think that there'd be kind of better things you can use too. But
Well, yeah, for sure. I'm just talking. I wonder what that would actually hold up to. If
I
you,
don't
I mean,
know.
you'd have to like be using thinner tires to even mold it to fit you, right? But
Yeah,
I mean, and I guess if you had a freaking spear, it's not going to really matter because you can poke through the wire mesh and the belting.
you know I don't know if you ever seen it, but I did a video a while back, and it was soft armor versus medieval weapons. And I had some police soft armor. I was testing out a bunch of blades on it and stuff, and it was actually surprising how well that stuff held up. To be totally honest, it was just certain weapons like double edged like swords and spears and certain broadheads that actually started making short work of it. But
Right. So I don't know if I ever told you this, but like when I got my deer in October, because I only got one deer this year, I took my and it's right here, my my trusty 6420 kukri, and I decapitated the corpse on video. And I've really thought about uploading that, but I don't know if it would get me a channel strike or not.
you might try it. Might have like a black screen with words on it. It's like viewer discretion advised or something, right off the bat.
Right, dude. When I was doing it,
No
I
deer
hope
were harmed in the making of this video.
dude, when I was doing it, I wasn't really paying attention to who was driving by because I'm in the middle of town where my house is, where I shot it. You know, I was obviously on some family land. So I'd strung this thing up in the front yard and cut all the meat off of it and did that video for the Shanzu Rhino. Well, I got all the meat cut up and everything. And I was like, all right, well, we got to see if this is going to just one swing take the head off. So it's still hanging from the from the neck, and I was like, all right, let's do it. So I set the camera up again and hit record. And as I was doing it, the Google car, the Google Earth like Street View car drove by, and it was closely followed by the local police. So, like, if I can find that in my phone, I might try to do a couple of zoom ins on those so you can.
That would be hysterical, to be totally honest. It reminds me of one of my family friends growing up. He lived in like the really wealthy part of town, and had just a really nice big house in this wealthy part of town. And everybody in this part of town was just like, I'm greater than thou type. But he was the type that he would show up with a dead deer and string it up in his front yard and be butchering this thing, and like you'd have all these pompous people driving by in their Mercedes, like just triggered as all shit. And so
Right,
it was always funny.
dude. Nothing hits the old pleasure button quite like pissing off your neighbor while he's wearing his monocle, getting his morning paper. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I Fortunately where I live, I mean you've seen my neck in the woods. I mean where I film my videos are literally just like a mile away from my house. So
Yeah.
uh, and I've filmed some stuff in my yard. My neighbors is horses and cornfields,
Right.
basically.
Like a lot of my like my knife review and cutting and stuff I do in my backyard, but like yeah, I try to do other stuff out on some family land. But just so I have a little bit of a place to cook with my kid, that whole like shelter build thing, that is in my yard in town, but I have a tree line on the back of my yard, so that helps. It's not like out in front of everybody, but it's
Yeah.
what I got.
Well, that's all you really can work with, and that's actually what I had to deal with for a long while, and then fortunately, I'm kind of blessed in the position I am in, just because I inherited land and stuff,
Right.
and so I guess that's kind of a thing for everybody to kind of think about is if you want to build the ultimate wealth, build something that your kids can inherit, and
Right.
ideally put it in a trust where you don't get the one jackass that'll sell it all, you
Dude,
know.
I think we've got a bunch of boomers that own a bunch of stuff that are just gonna like screw it up and end up selling it to BlackRock though.
Oh, well, so what's crazy is you mentioned that, and we're seeing it like up where I'm at. We have a lot of farmland, and there's a bunch of the boomers, both Republican and Democrat types, that all just like, I don't believe in inheritance. Bill Gates told me not to, so I'm signing it over to the government. And
Fuck
like,
AIDS.
and then like first thing first, it's like it's farmland, and now it's a Pajit food gas station and a porn shop. It's like,
Yeah,
good God, like I hope you're happy. You know.
right. I mean, I would rather have a bunch of like get off my land people than to there to just not be anybody that owns land. You know what I'm saying? Like if we are willing as a society to sell it all to corporations, we will eventually own nothing, and most of us aren't going to be happy.
Well, the truth of the matter is the difference between nobility and peasants is land ownership.
Right.
And whether people wants to admit that or not, that's like really honestly the truth. And so that's what they want, though, is they want everybody to be peasants,
Yeah.
essentially.
Well, and they're training us with it with government handouts, and really, once they start doing the whole like AI and getting rid of people's jobs to the point, because even in the chicken industry, which is kind of that's the industry I work in, is like the chicken industry. There's so much of that that's going the direction of AI as far as like automating farms, automating hatcheries, all that stuff, to where there won't be a need for even people like me. Um, so either I'm going to have to shift gears and find something else that's not taken up by AI, and I have no clue what that is. Because it's coming for basically every profession in the country, and then they're going to basically create a lower class of what they call useless eaters that they're going to put on the government dole until they I don't know, get us all in government approved housing and then, I don't know, gas the damn thing with a built in gas system. I don't
Well,
know.
I do think that with the AI, big AI push, I think that they're going to push a big genocide agenda with that.
That's what I mean. Put us
Yeah,
in
and
government
because
built
they
buildings.
can't just have a bunch of people, with nothing. It's just like when I worked in a retail management some years back, they were talking about the AI stuff even back then and like, oh, we're going to automate this and automate that and we don't have to have employees for this and employees for that and it's like, yeah, but who the fuck is even going to have money for to buy your shit?
It'll
Like,
basically be
who's
the
going to buy
government
your
giving
shit
us,
if you get rid of
yeah.
all the jobs?
Well, it'll be one of those deals where the government will give us a bunch of fake tokens and we can hit the feeder bar to get a food pellet that they produce.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to, that's the society that they want for us, basically.
When I personally I think that there's going to be a couple things on the horizon that we should be prepared for. I think the AI thing, and I think the genocide agenda with the AI thing, and I also think the Bolshevik Revolution 2.0 type of thing is coming
Yeah.
to, and
Well, it's
that'll
clearly
all be
happening.
led by the Shapiro-Berg, Levinstein, and Rubinowitz types, and it's interesting because some of those characters that I just mentioned, you look into their family history and they literally have Bolshevik Revolution history in their family, and
Yeah.
Shapiro-Stein in particular, his great great ancestor mass exterminated millions of Christians and bragged about it. And of course, we're supposed to believe that this guy is some conservative guy here in America now. But I think that's
Even
why.
he is like influencing conservatives to not even think about retirement. Like, oh, that's a stupid thing. Like, dude, you sit behind a chair, you sit behind a
You sit
computer
behind a
chair and talk all
chair
day.
and never you've never done anything with your life. Minuteman 777. You can trace them all back to the fallen ones. This is a seed war. I was actually talking about that a little while ago. They all can trace their lineage back to the Nephilim, and I actually think the synagogue of Satanites. This is just my wild theory, okay? But I actually think they can trace their lineage to the bloodline of Amalek. Is I think they are exactly what they accuse everybody else of being. And that's what I think they are. And when you look into their vampiric tendencies, the bloodline of Amalek was the vampire race, which that
The,
goes
yeah,
like way down
the
the rabbit
juicing
hole.
of children, that type of thing.
Yeah.
All of that kind of
Well,
craziness.
so we were talking about the Epstein crap earlier too. I think the reason why they will never, ever, ever push and open up all the stuff about Epstein or be truthful about it is one, I think they're all involved in it. Like I think that's like right on the surface
Yeah.
level. But I actually think underneath of it all, I think when you start talking about billionaires and trillionaires that print money out of nothing and they don't really money doesn't mean anything to them. And I think children is their currency at a certain point. They extract that energy from that. And so I think that is their currency. That's the currency of the elite, the Nephilim bloodlines.
And it makes sense that, like, because I do believe that sin has an eroding effect on the human being, whether it's in my life or anybody else. But the way that they are like juicing these kids to like artificially give themselves like physical vitality, I think is one of the things that they probably have to do. And they
Yeah.
end up living a lot longer because
Oh
they're
yeah.
doing this. But it's
Yeah.
not because,
Like I said, look at Benjamin Netanyahu. The guy hasn't aged in 30 years.
yeah, dude, and you're right. I mean,
I mean,
just
I'm sure that guy has a gallon of adrenochrome a day.
drinking his children.
It's either adrenochrome or him and Benjamin Shapiro or Ben Shapiro are all slurping on dick skin slurpees. So
Dude, that whole like when I first realized the kind of things that they do in some of their, that even Christians have seen and turned a blind eye to, like the dick skin slurpees and such. Dude, it's almost so absurd it's unbelievable until you're like you find the irrefutable undeniable evidence of it, and it's out there.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's out there, and when you start to see it, it's like, and this is supposedly the chosen people.
dude.
Like,
But nothing is, by blessing. If Ted Cruz was right and we were supposed to bless Israel, I still don't think that helping them murder their neighbor to the degree that they have in Gaza is in any way a blessing. You know what I'm
no.
saying?
Well, the United States has quote been blessing Israel for 70 years, and look at where it's got us.
It's hurt everybody involved.
Yeah, and the crazy part about it is that's not even a real verse in the Bible.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Well,
talking.
that's talking about Abraham. It's not even a, you
Yeah,
know, it's the seed is Christ, but we accept him through the faith of Abraham. It's a very simple thing, but we've been freaking gaslit into thinking that we have to kiss Israel's ass. This country, how many people had to kiss Israel's ass before it was 1948? Like there's got to be a point here where people look at history and are like, oh, well, whose ass did we kiss before 1948 here? Oh, let's look at what the people thought before then. You
yeah.
know, the information's out there. You know,
Well, it's kind of like I said, uh, the Bibles, the shit. What Bible was it that I was talking about? The
Schofield.
Schofield Bible. Yeah, those have really manipulated a lot of Christians.
It
And
has.
what's crazy too is there's a lot of Christians that I'll see that'll quote verses, but they're not even quoting a real verse. Just like the blessing the Israel thing.
Yeah.
That's a Schofield note. That's not
Yeah.
even a biblical verse. And
Well,
so
dude, it's just like the erroneous, God helps those who help themselves thing. That's actually not in the Bible. Now, you may be able to come to that conclusion, but don't quote it like it's scripture.
yeah, there's a lot of people that has twisted scripture so far, and you know, but then you get the other flip side of it is you get the Catholic and Orthodox got giga Chad bros that are pushing their own psyop, and a lot of them don't even realize that they're pushing a psyop there too.
Right.
But
My thing with like the Catholics and stuff like that, as long as they don't come to me acting like I'm just not even a Christian, I'm cool with them, and I don't want to like fight with them. But at the same time, if they show up being like oh we're the true church and blah blah blah, and it's like I
your
can
guy wears a Babylonian fish hat. Shut the hell up.
Babylonian fish.
No, it literally is. Go look it up. Go
I'll look it
uh,
up.
look up Dagon, the Babylonian god Dagon that came out of the water, the fish man. The Pope wears the hat dedicating to the Babylonian god Dagon.
Huh? That it wouldn't surprise me. I just try to give a little bit of like grace to the ones who don't really know what they're even involved in, and I think
No, and
that's
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
them
them.
don't. And I'll be the first to say, okay, I got devout Catholics and Orthodox in my own inner circle of guys that if I called them and said, "Hey, I need help," the agents of Babylon are kicking in my front fucking door. They're going to show up with rifles, okay?
Right.
And same thing if they called me and been like, "Hey, the agents of Babylon are coming, uh, out
Right.
out to their place, I'm going to show up to their house with a rifle." So, there's guys I'm really cool with on all that, but at the same time, I don't like 100% agree with them on there like
Right.
that.
And that's where I'm at. Like I know some that I could name that I talk to pretty regularly, and they're good dudes. So it's one of them things where I just try to take it easy on it and not go too hard on them. But yeah, they know I don't agree with them too.
Mhm. Now, I will say, like in my area, when all the like COVID crap was going on, some of them were like the most outspoken against it, which I actually commended them a lot on that because there was a lot of Catholics and Orthodox in my area that were protesting against all the COVID crap. So
Right. And that's badass.
yeah,
Uh,
and when I, and they were even having like their priest go out with them and stuff. So I was like, man, you guys are actually doing it right there. I
you
get
know, I,
kudos.
I think that we can all benefit from each other while if we can not cut each other up too much, you know. Like I'm sure that the Catholics understand some things that maybe Protestants don't, and vice versa. You know, I mean, there's a lot of Protestant doctrine that I'm pretty solid on as far as like,
Well,
yeah, this is
I
what it
think the
is.
main thing that we all have to recognize is, and we'll wrap this up because we're right at an hour, and I like to keep these right at an hour.
Right.
Is I think we all have to recognize that Babylon USA is collapsing. We have to build our own communities, and don't make enemies out of people that you agree with 90% on.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and I think the internet has a way of engineering people to be against each other when in reality they agree 90% on things.
Dude,
And
that's yeah, I fall into that. Like get into
no, I
arguments
think
with people.
everybody falls victim to it to a certain extent. I've caught myself even doing it. It's like,
Yeah.
shit, this guy I agree with 90%, you know. And so I think we all need to work together, especially, you know, there's certain people that pushing crap that's like straight up blasphemy or other crap, you know, they'll sort themselves out at a certain point.
Right.
But I think we all have to start trying to prepare because I think the empire is falling. You know?
That's
And
honestly,
the empire is going to try to use its claws and drag everybody down with it too. And
yeah, and
so,
honestly, that's the reason I'm like really still trying to. It's taken me 5 years to get where I'm at, but still trying to focus on, you know, getting that fitness even more tightened up, because
yeah,
that's what I lack in a lot of areas. But it's I've made a lot of progress, but like I'm gonna have a better time coping with what's going on if I'm more fit and more able to do things, and well, it's just easier to not get shot if you're a smaller target also behind cover to start with. But
yeah. Well,
you know,
I will say too, though, sometimes the bigger guys. I mean, it's kind of nice to have a pack meal here and there too.
yeah,
The little skinny dudes like me, we kind of blow out, you know, carrying 100-pound pack around here and there. So you know, I am one video I was going to be working on this year, and I've been kind of working on it for a bit. Is getting healthy. I haven't titled it right yet, but either getting jacked or getting healthy for SHTF. And so I don't know if you want, maybe I can collaborate with you on that,
yeah, we can talk about
or
it
I
for
could throw
sure.
you some advice or anything like that. But
Yeah,
uh, Chris, thank you for hopping on the live stream. It's always a fun live stream when me and you get together.
yeah.
Uh,
Hey, I'm glad we finally got it to work out this time. We've planned several that haven't.
Yeah, work, farm, wife and kids, all that good stuff. It's kind of hard to plan it all out. And so, thank you for hopping on, and definitely look forward to doing it in the future. Guys, all of you, thank you for hopping on. And as always, be prepared both physically and spiritually. God bless and carry on.